All right, thank you for joining. So today I wanted to take a look at Stellar XLM USDT on the Binance chart. And as you can see, we've had a massive sell-off from BTC, Bitcoin. And because of that, the entire market is currently in the red for the most part, as you can see on the right side of my screen here. But with that being said, that's actually great news because that means a lot of these projects are more undervalued than they were a few weeks ago, right? So a few weeks ago, if we wanted to go ahead and look at the parallel channels, you can see that price was trading a lot higher than it usually does, but this is pretty much how the market moves, right? And when you zoom out here, I did draw this parallel channel from the lows here, this pivot low to the highs. And you can see price did interact with the middle of the channel, pretty much respected it, right? So you had this rejection here, came down, flipped this resistance into support, came back up, had challenge going over the 50% mark, found support before impulsing higher, and it's just been reacting with the middle of this channel pretty nicely. And when you go out, you can see this is clearly just a massive accumulation phase, right? If we go ahead and zoom out just a little bit more, you can see that it pretty much had one of those accumulation phases right here, right? Which, as you can see, lines up almost exact. So that the top of this parallel channel lines up almost exact with the bottom of this parallel channel. So with that being said, this resistance has been flipped into support, and now we have a new support and resistance channel. And what does that really mean? It just means that we are closer to the bottom, and being closer to the bottom, we look for long opportunities, right? So what I just did before was I pulled the Fibonacci from the lows right here to the very high of the range. And as you can see, the 786 is currently being respected. All right, so let me go ahead and take this out, because even though price did react from these levels, you can see, just like any other support zone, the more times it gets tapped, the weaker it gets. And then right here, it basically flipped it into resistance, right? So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and just remove this for now. It's still relevant, just not as relevant. So what I did is, when you zoom in here on the lower price action, you can see it is currently forming another parallel channel inside this massive parallel channel. So with this pivot low being the low, price did respect it, swept some liquidities from this low, moved up high, respected the top of the channel, came down, touched the 50%, came back up, touched the top of the channel one more time before fully retracing back down to the lows. Now I would expect it to perform similarly to what it did back here, where price came down, took the liquidity, moved higher. It should do that because, you know, once price comes down and you have a lot of this buying pressure coming in, right? Huge buying pressure coming in after a massive selling pressure. That means there's just a ton of liquidity being built up below these lows. So what I would be looking for is for price to come down here, sweep these lows, reclaim this parallel channel as support before moving higher. And then if we go ahead and use our price range tool here, you're talking about a 7% channel, and that is, it's actually pretty good gains, not gonna lie. So you want to mark out your levels, and you also want to make sure that you use the proper risk management, right? So if price does come down here, which is also a very important level, right? So this is overall the bottom of the channel. So if we don't get this kind of price action, then I would actually expect to get this kind of price action, right? If we get lucky enough, maybe it does test this trend line one more time, kind of like what it's doing right now, right? Because at the end of the day, this is pretty much a zone, right? So you can go ahead, turn this into a little zone, and yeah, price is reacting off that area quite well. Just like in support and resistance, it's not an exact number, it is a zone, right? So this is a zone, as you can see. This was support, broke through. This is now a lower support. And look, price reacted right in the middle of that support. So this is a zone. And at the same time, this is a zone too as well, right? Now, if you want to go get a little fancy on your parallel channels, you can always do this. And then, you can just color in the middle, increase your brightness, and then there's your zone, right? That's your zone, just like that. Let's go ahead and put it back to normal here. So yeah, I am more bullish than bearish on XLM at the moment. It pretty much is doing a swing failure on the local time frame, but not really enough. No, actually, I do like it, let's see here. Not too much volume coming in, a little volume spike, but it's still lower. So you have price moving up with volume going lower. Not the best sign, but if you wanted to be an aggressive trader, you could actually go ahead and take the long, right? Because a swing failure is a valid trade setup. And the best part is it is also reacting with the bottom of the parallel channel and the 786, which is technically triple confluence. So that is enough to get into a trade. But what I do like to do is draw my trend lines to see exactly how price will react, right? So like I said, if you're a little bit more aggressive, you can go ahead and enter this long. It is technically making a falling wedge pattern, right? Let's go ahead and drop this right here. Not quite, it's close. You would, it is pretty much, right? It's pretty much a falling wedge because you would use this and this as your anchor points. And you can see price did react there. Here it's a little choppy, obviously a little choppy, but there's nothing actually stopping me from believing that price will move up from these levels as long as Bitcoin stays neutral or bullish, right? We can see something like this. Price action play out. And like I said, that is a 7% channel. So keep that in mind. I am more bullish than bearish currently on XLM. I think we will get a 7% rise, just like what we saw here. But also keep in mind, this is the third time this level is being tapped. And there is a bigger, more important level below. All right, let's go ahead and zoom out here. And that would be here where you get this double bottom. But what I don't want is for price to go back into this parallel channel, because now it's being accepted back into this range. And then what happens is once you're accepted into this range, price might want to find its way back down and test these lows, which would be a great long opportunity. But if you are overall bullish on XLM, maybe you have a bag of XLM, then yeah, you don't really want that to happen. But like we say, you can't predict the future, so we just trade one level at a time. We chart, map out the key support and resistance zones. We set alerts, and when price gets to those levels, we just react with the right risk management. And if it plays out, it plays out. If it doesn't, that's okay. You just wait for the next trade setup. All right. So just a quick recap. It is currently trading in a overall huge, massive parallel channel. Right now, price did sell off, and it is currently trading inside a smaller channel. We are at the bottom of the channel, which means there's a higher probability price will go up and increase to the top of the range, which is, like we said before, about 7% away. I would be more bullish once this wedge is broken, but it looks like there isn't much room left for this coin to do anything. And I think a breakout would be coming here in the next few hours, or even tomorrow, which is technically today. So keep your eye out for XLM. And if we do get bullish price action and we go back and touch the highs of the massive range, you're talking a 25% increase. Okay. And obviously this is pretty much, I wouldn't really say pegged, but it is pretty much linked to XRP. So we'll see what XRP does as well. But as for now, you are talking about a 1.37% stop loss. Or if you want to be safe and you want to put it below this pivot low, you could do so, which is technically 2% away. So that's like the max risk I would risk on a trade. So it is a pretty good time to enter a trade. Once again, this is not financial advice. It's just for educational purposes. But yeah, I am liking the way how this chart looks at the moment. And with that being said, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I do put a lot of videos out on, well, a lot of updates out on X, as you can see, which I did call this top here on Bitcoin, right? Triple confluence, 1, 2, 3. We had a massive trend line going into this other trend line, and it was right around the value area high. And what do we see after that? Let me go to the other post. Boom, a massive sell-off. That was at 42.9, and where are we at now? We are now currently trading at 42.73 after another massive sell-off to the downside. All right, so that's what we saw originally. All right, and now look at that. Price tried to come back up, got rejected again. Boom, boom. Well, anyway, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and join the Telegram. Follow me on X, and yeah, try to do this every single day. Thanks for watching. Bye.